Welcome to my first ever Q&A video. Today, I will be doing my very first Q&A that is based off the Q&A info of the video that I put up where people asked me questions, and now I'm going to answer them for my first Q&A video. I hope I didn't just scramble your brains, and my brain included, because... never mind. Okay, let's get on to the first question, but first off, no one asked me on Facebook, so it's kind of like, you can ask me on Facebook and I'll still look. But yeah, here quite a few people, more than I expected, asked me some questions on YouTube. I was very happy about that. I was a little bit of people, but it was enough. So let's go to question number 1. Hold on. I didn't copy and paste or anything. I'm just going to look it up on the computer. CIC Pro 1 asks, what is your favorite slasher movie? And I actually answered some of these by me writing them down because there were some pretty big questions, so I wrote some of them down to answer them. And this is one of them. I love The Burning. I love Friday the 13th. I love Halloween, Freddy, Pinhead, just trying to abbreviate it, Leatherface, Chucky. But my favorite slasher movie is, I can't decide. It'd either be Hatchet 1 or Hatchet 3. Hatchet 2 was really good, but not as good as Hatchet 1 and 3. So that's my answer for CIC Pro 1, is my favorite slasher movie is either Hatchet 1 or 3. Now, if I get anyone's name wrong, please don't be upset, because I'm very bad at pronouncing names. So, it's like Dora, but it's Dora Frit asks, practical effects or CGI? That's the first part of his question, and I have to say practical effects, because practical effects are old school. They're awesome. They look more real than CGI, but I love CGI too. I can't lie. I'm not going to be like one of those people that say CGI is for Satan, or it's a curse, or it's evil. I'm going to say that CGI is actually really good if it's used right, and but I do love practical effects more. And then the second part of his question is top 5 creature features and why. Now I had to write this part down. Let's go to it. Top 5 favorite creature features and why. Number 1, Jaws, because it's Jaws. Number 2, Jurassic Park, because Jurassic Park was one of those films that when I was little, I wanted to go there. I wanted to be a part of Jurassic Park. I wanted to see the dinosaurs, not just the dinosaurs. I wanted to see the island too, because it was so beautiful. Number 3, Planet of Dinosaurs, because it is so cheesy, so fun, and also I grew up with it. I think it was the first horror movie I ever watched. Or horror had some horror elements in it. Number 4, Alien. Not Aliens. I love Aliens, don't get me wrong, but I love Alien a lot more because I watched it over and over again until I got sick of it. Then I watched Aliens, and I'm like, this is great, but not as good as the original Alien. And number 5 is Predator. Predator is so badass, has so many awesome characters, and I don't love it as much as Alien, but Predator kicks all sorts of ass, which is kind of weird, because if many of you watch my videos, you know that I dig suspense, but I don't love it throughout, but I like Alien more than Predator, the movie. Yeah. Alright, let's go back to the internet, and please tell me, I have to refresh it. Just give me 1 second. I hate my computer sometimes. Okay. Third question is from Jason Grinda. Cool name. It is, do you like any silent era horror films? Now, I haven't watched any silent era horror films, but I won't say that I don't like them, because I can deal with Japanese and foreign films, and I can watch them without them having any subtitles or being dubbed. So if I can do that, I think I can watch silent era horror films and just read. I wouldn't mind. So I'll have to give those a try sometime. Next up is from Mr. Grotesque 66. He asks, what's your favorite horror director? And I would have to say Steven Spielberg, but Steven Spielberg is not a straight up horror director. In fact, he's really never directed a serious straight up horror film. He's directed Jaws, Jurassic Park, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Schindler's List, and so many others. But if I had to go with somebody who was a straight up horror director and directs a lot of very straightforward horror films, it would either have to be James Wan or Adam Green, because they make great films. So there. Next question is from Marvel DC Fans Reviews. First off, he says, congratulations on the 250 subscribers, Brian. Thank you. And here are a few questions for your Q&A. And number one, the one he asks first is, what made you become interested in horror films? And I would have to say that watching films as a kid, I loved Disney, I loved animation, I loved live action films, but there was never something that, it was missing something, and I soon realized that it was missing violence. It was missing the harsh reality that could happen, not just these happy endings all the time. I mean, granted, Bambi's mom gets killed, but still. So I loved the fact that horror films showed that, and they had an art to them, and that's why I grew up watching horror films, and that's why I'm interested in horror films, because they show more than any other movie. And the second question he asks is, if you could direct a horror movie, what would it be about? Now, I am planning on directing a movie very soon. It's going to be I'm possibly going to be shooting in August. I made a teaser trailer for it, and if you want to see it, send me a inbox me on YouTube, and it's called The Lore, and I'm not going to tell you what it's about because it's a surprise. I'm not even sure what it's really about yet. I mean, I have several ideas of what it's going to lead up to, but I don't know exactly what the creature or whatever it's going to be is going to be. So, yeah. But if I could direct a seriously big horror film, I would try to tackle a remake of Planet of Dinosaurs. I really would. I've always wanted to. Next is from Samorge78. And he asks, what kind of horror movie goes under your skin? You mean gets underneath my skin? Cannibal films, man, are just straight up gore films. I love gore, don't get me wrong, but there are just I got so much stuttering right now. But there's so much they're just so disgusting. I love gore, it's so awesome, but there's some films out there that are just crazy, and it gets underneath my skin. And Movie Buff Mike asks, favorite horror movie of all time. Favorite horror movie of all time and favorite movie that is not horror. Only pick one per category, no ties. So my favorite horror film, as I stated, was Jaws. Even though it has more adventure and suspense and thriller elements, I still think it's a horror film, and I'm going to stick by that. But I made a list. Favorite movies besides horror films. I put several categories. I put 1, 2, 4, 6, 7 categories. I know there's probably more, but this is all I can think of. And the first one is action films. I love action films. I have several action films in my action-packed collection. And my favorite action film is Die Hard. Die Hard, the original. My favorite drama is The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. Yeah, that's like one of the only movies that after I watched it, I was like, no, that's not fair! That's not fair! And then favorite romance is Ever After, the one with Drew Barrymore. That's a great film. I love that film. It's like a Cinderella story, but with a twist. Not really a twist, but a different placings of things. Favorite comedy, I actually recently just saw this, called Silver Streak. It's a 70s film, and I absolutely loved it. It stars with the original Willy Wonka, too, man. Or the Young Frankenstein. It stars him, and he's awesome in the film. It's funny as hell. And then sci-fi. I'm placing these some categories I didn't put in because they can have horror elements, and I couldn't think of any that don't have any horror elements, such as crime, mystery, thriller. And I found one. I thought of sci-fi. I'm like, yeah, there's some sci-fi films out there that have no horror elements. Maybe some of the designs could be creepy, but I thought Star Wars. Star Wars is awesome. Favorite adventure is Indiana Jones, the original, or the second, or the third. Screw the fourth. Favorite fantasy is The Never-Ending Story. And actually, let me put one more category. Family. And you're going to laugh at me when I tell you exactly what it is. Actually, you're to write it down. I'm even writing it down. Okay. Favorite family film is The Land Before Time. I like it more than Toy Story. I like it more than The Lion King because I watched it all the time. The Land Before Time. Beautiful film. So yeah, those are the questions. I have over 70 views and 7 likes on that video. I'm pretty happy about that. My hat is so poofy. So yeah, wicked happy. But I do want more questions to be asked in the future. Hopefully people will know. So share this video and leave a question down in the description below and in the comment section below. And yeah, so I am Brian Gatto, host of Horror Show Movie Reviews. Make sure to like my Facebook page in the description below and to leave comments and subscribe.